What in the world happened to used car prices? It's completely insane. I go to CarMax and other dealerships, they have full lots of used vehicles. They're all overpriced, the quality's lower, and they're not worth the money. And CarMax is one of the worst. They're going to sell a car that you would think is $3,000 or $4,000, but they're going to ask 15 grand for it, and someone's going to buy it at 72 months at over 20% interest. It's insane how they're selling these things. But it's becoming an issue because there's so much negative equity. Over the last few years, so many people overpaid for new, used. I mean, I talk about the people who paid over MSRP on new, but think about the people who still are and have paid MSRP on used. So they're paying over MSRP on a used vehicle, so they're going to be stuck even more compared to others. And so negative equity is becoming a big issue. They owe more on the car than it's actually worth. They can't trade it in. And banks are starting to realize people are not making their payments. Repo rates are skyrocketing. And so they have to decline more loans. They need money down and proof of this and proof of that. And so banks are starting to get a little stricter. But CarMax has their own lending, so they can be a lot freer with it if they want, but they got to be careful. But selling these overpriced vehicles, they'll just repo it right back and probably sell it for more than they did before. And obviously more of those repos are winding right back up at the car lot, and so they're not worth buying because if you can't make your car payment, think about if they're going to actually maintain the vehicle, even an oil change. And if it is a reliable vehicle like a last generation Toyota, they're selling for crazy prices. But if you go to trade that vehicle in, the dealership's still going to try to steal it. You got to know that dealerships' main profit on the front end gross used to be used cars. And I know now it is because discounts are back on the new. When inventory went down on the new side and prices went crazy and discounts went away, dealers made a lot of their money on that new front end gross. But before 2020, it was only the used cars that made that front end gross. New cars used to always get sold under MSRP. That was the norm. And they can make all this money on used because they try to steal your trade. That's what you have to be so careful. Dealing with these dealers, they try to steal trades left and right, and they still are, unfortunately. So many people could have got thousands of more dollars for their vehicle when they traded it in. And that's why so many people go to places like CarMax. They want to deal with somewhere that's not like a normal dealership, but CarMax has super high prices. I mean, we've seen 12 to 15-year-old vehicles that literally should sell for 3 or 4 grand that are selling for way over 10 grand. And most dealerships are going to try to sell you warranties and all this, and we've even seen addendum stickers on used cars. Yeah, you heard me right. An add-on onto used cars. And so dealerships are going to try to make their money any way they can, so you have to be so careful. That's why any chance they get to steal a car from a customer, they will offer you the lowest amount they can to try to get that trade. But it just doesn't make sense. The overall used car market is highly inflated. From what you used to be able to get for 10 to 15 grand compared to now, you're getting the same vehicle that's older with more miles and you're paying more money for that same vehicle. But it's what's going to happen when new cars get increased so much that used car is going to follow. Before we know it, the average used car will be well over $40,000. So it's a rough time to be in the market, but I would never pay more than MSRP for a new vehicle, let alone a used vehicle. Think about all the people who paid over MSRP for a used vehicle. And there's still plenty of inventory. Every dealership has lots that are full, the auctions are full, so if their lot's not full, it's on them. They can buy all the cars they want. But a lot of dealerships are struggling now that the crazy times are over with market adjustments and all that, but still some of them are trying to. But most people have smartened up and they said, no, we're not ever paying a market adjustment. Interest rates are still pretty high and they're financing their floor plan, and it adds up. You got to think about all those used and new cars sitting out there. The dealership's paying payments on those cars. And I know CarMax have had multiple vehicles sitting for many, many months on their lot, and they have so many options from trading to different CarMax dealers or sending it to their dealer auction. But people are just saying no when the vehicle's so overpriced. It doesn't make sense. I mean, these used cars, you're getting less and you're paying more for it. And if you do find a good used car, it's getting so rare and the dealership's going to charge so much money for it. Most dealerships are seeing less trade-ins come through because of all the negative equity, especially the people who bought over the last 5 years. They're upside down. They can't buy a new car until they pay that one off. And so it's just a bad situation. Either way you look at it, new or used, it's overpriced in almost every situation. And that's why so many people would rather just keep the car they have than buying a new one, because either route you go, it's way more than it used to cost. The quality's lower. It's just not worth it. They would rather replace the whole engine and transmission before they buy a new vehicle. And so you have to be extremely careful. If you are in the market, don't let the dealership just take advantage of you. Negotiate. Who knows what they bought that car for, but it was much less than they're selling it for, most likely. Especially if it's a trade-in, a lot of those are just stealing them left and right. Customers don't know how much their own vehicle's worth. So a dealership is still going to depreciate the car like crazy, but then when they go to sell it, they're going to sell it for over MSRP. So be extremely careful around these dealers. They will take advantage any way they can. But let me know what you think. Have you found any good deals out there, or would you buy any of these super overpriced vehicles, especially at these dealer lots? They're so overpriced, they're not worth it. Let me know what you think. Have a great day and stay blessed.